Also, this was my poem. They told me that I had to write a Japanese poem. And in Japanese poem literature culture, like Japanese poems, just like Asia poems in general, like they're all really sad or like melancholic. So I really worked hard to write a Japanese poem. And then I see all the other EM members writing things like, I'm so happy to be here. And I don't know, it was just so wholesome. And then I wrote a really sad one in Japanese. I was like, excuse me, I feel like we all got different homework. String by Wilson. I know! Because Mane-san told me that I had to write... They were like, okay, we would most prefer you to write it in Japanese. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I really worked hard on this poem, guys. Like, I really worked... My Japanese is so bad, but I worked so hard on this one. Like, I wrote this in English first. So in English it says, in the winter, the snow fills my heart. Where love once existed, but has now melted away. Like, the meaning is more or less the same, but you know, because I had to follow like the poem format, I had to kind of change it around in Japanese. But literally, if I had to do like a direct translation, it says, Yuki fukashi is like a deep snow. Ai no atokie means traces of our love disappears. Kokoro ni tsumoru means like it piles up in my heart. Fuyu no shizukesa is like the deafening winter. And then tada nokoru shiro, all that remains is white. So a lot of people, I think, thought maybe that this poem was about love. And it could apply to love, you know, like romance love, but I don't have a boyfriend. So like, why the f would I write about romance love? Like, karushi inai desho. Like, who am I writing this about? Actually, for me, I wrote this poem because in recent years, specifically, like, I really felt like I have to leave behind, not leave behind, but just like start growing up a little bit. Like, there was always a part of me that always felt like I wanted to be and could be a child in my parents' eyes. But recently I figured out that like I really needed to like let go of that because, you know, how they see me now isn't gonna be the way that they saw me when I was like 5 years old. So, you know, for me, winter was the first season that I could probably remember the most because my parents and I had moved to Canada during the winter season and it was really like full of snow. Like, I remember like being really, really young and seeing snow piled up so high for the first time. And that was kind of like how I would set my childhood. Like, whenever I think about fresh, tall snow, that's when I think about like when I was a kid. So, Yuki fukashi is literally like, you know, the setting of my childhood, essentially. Traces of our love disappear. It doesn't really mean, for me at least, that like my parents don't love me anymore or anything. It's nothing dramatic like that. It's more like the love that they gave me when I was a young child are starting to kind of disperse. Which makes sense because I'm growing up. I'm older now. And then that sort of feeling like it piles up in my heart. And then, in the deafening winter, fuyu no shizuka, tada nokoru shiro, all that remains is white. For me, that means that like every time winter comes to revisit, I always remember those memories because snow will always remind me of like my childhood. But, you know, it's like, it's just not the same anymore because I'm not a child anymore. So this is a poem about growing up. So a lot of you guys probably thought that it was about like a secret lover or something. Which honestly, like, yeah, like that's the thing with poems. Like, poems can be about anything. Like, it can be about that if it applies to you. But, you know, since I wrote this one, I'm telling you what it's about. So, it's about growing up, letting go of your childlike innocence, and like accepting that you gotta move forward and being an adult. Which is something I've always struggled with. Well, that was my poem. Obviously, Mane-san helped me so much with this. My Japanese is not nearly as good as all that. So, props to Mane-san. Thank you. I saw that a lot of people were trying to decipher it, and they're just like, she probably thought it was really deep and said something. I was like, you motherfuckers, you know nothing. First of all, I watched Chihaya Furu, okay? I love poems. Karuta, okay? Number 2, actually, in English literature, I got like 100%. Okay? Like, in every single class, in every grade, every class, my literature was like through the roof. Okay? So, yeah! Y'all. People in the comments were like, yeah, she probably doesn't even know what she's saying. I'm like, bro, probably couldn't even write this in English. Or any other language. Bitch. Naruhodo. That's why your song lyrics are so good? No. The song lyrics is a completely different thing. Okay. Song lyrics are really different to me. Like, I don't think I could ever write song lyrics. But yeah, next time I'm just gonna write about, like, how I love building snowmen. Like, literally, like, I think I was one of the first people to, like, write the poem, so I didn't have much of an example. It's like, everyone else after me just wrote something really, like, wholesome and really cute, and I was like, they even drew pictures, and I was like, I didn't know you could draw pictures. I thought it was supposed to be a serious poem in Japanese about the winter season. Like, that's literally what they told me. They're like, your assignment is to write a poem that relates to the season of winter. And I was like, okay. Now everybody thinks I'm mega depressed. What the heck? Which I am. I'm very depressed. They did like a whole portrait. I was like, bruh. Next time I'm gonna like pretend that I like just gonna like copy someone else's homework. Always wanted everybody to call me Onee-chan. I'm gonna get demonetized.